All right, guys, so today is that day that I trade in my Mercedes-Benz G Wagon. It's been fine. This is a 2017, and the reason I'd kept this for a little bit longer was I like the idea of the solid axle in the front, right? Coming from the Jeep world, so it was like, okay, this is a solid axle, can kind of maintain that. The new ones starting after 2018 don't really have a solid axle. They got independent front suspension, so held off as long as I could until I actually test drove one, and it's absolutely amazing. They've got more room in them than this one does, right? They're about 6 inches wider, about 6 inches, maybe a little bit more longer, and that may not sound like a lot, but if you've ever driven in a G Wagon, or forbid being a passenger in the rear seat, you know exactly what it's like. I can't sit in the back without my knees firmly in the back seat when I'm in the back, pretending like I was sitting in front, right? If I was shorter, yeah, I could move the seat a little bit forward and the people in the back would have more room, but at a little bit over 6 foot, if I'm sitting in the front, I cannot comfortably sit behind myself, and that's absolutely insane. So finally getting rid of it against, and they're supposed to drive better as well. The new one's supposed to drive a little bit better. This one drives good, but there's a lot of play in the steering wheel, kind of like a Jeep, or less than a Jeep, but depending on who you ask. So I'm curious to see exactly how much better that new one's gonna be, but I'll definitely do a video on that to kind of show you guys the differences between the two. But I've loved this vehicle. It's a nice vehicle. It's an interesting vehicle. I don't know that it's the best vehicle out there, but it's definitely one of those things that you get, and it's it's something to behold. I think it doesn't drive the best. It's really the suspension is really stiff, right? So I wouldn't say this is the best driving vehicle I've ever owned. I actually like to drive my Lexus a whole lot more than I like driving this. So just based on that, it gives you kind of an idea of the kind of ride quality in here. But my Lexus GX460 drives way better than this drives. Like just right now, just going over bumps and stuff like that, just on a regular road, everything is all just very jarry. So that part of it, I'm hoping changes in the new one. They say it's a little bit better, but we'll soon find out exactly how much better it is. So I will do a little video that kind of shows you guys what I'm talking about. I'll try to do a side-by-side once I get it all wrapped up and I got the other one, so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. But I did not hate this 2017. Don't buy it because you think it's the best vehicle in the world. It definitely is not, I don't think. I think it's an interesting vehicle. I think it's a vehicle for that person who's a driver and is looking for that, I don't know, a car person, an enthusiast, right? You're just looking for something unique, something interesting. It's like a Jeep, basically. You know, it's got the capabilities of a Jeep, but only better, you know, depending on who you ask, right? But for example, certain things like the 3 lockers, you know, and then there's a throwbacks like this situation here where it's just like, why is it so, it looks like it's just sticking out of there, right? And then what else do we have? You got the gauge cluster here, which looks pretty cool. You got the door controls, and I got that one with the stitched inset, red inserts in the leather, which is kind of nice. Breaks up the black a little bit more. And then what else do we have that's of consequence here? The steering wheel has changed, of course, in the new one. This is a nice steering wheel, but I like the one in the new one a whole lot better. The whole dash here has changed. It now has 2 digital displays, which is kind of cool. I think they're about 12 inches, but garage door openers, so I had all that anyways, and some of this equipment up here. But overall, no cup holders. You know, this is the cup holder, which has been one of the laughing stock things in these G Wagons for so long, that is a singular cup holder in this vehicle, which is one of those things that kind of makes it all very interesting and makes you want to get something else. But not a lot of room. You know, sitting in here like this, you can see it's pretty tight quarters. You've got good visibility off the road ahead of you when you're driving, and you definitely feel like you're in command, but definitely not a lot of room on the inside. I can almost reach out and touch the other end of the door while sitting in this seat. And let me take you guys to the back real quick and show you what I'm talking about. So this is the back seat. Look how much room there is or is not in here. So if I jump in here, this is what it's like. Like I'm pushing the seat forward, just sitting in here. Let me try to do it like this. All right, so not a lot of room at all in here. You got tons of headroom, you know, because they're so awkwardly tall, so that's not a problem there. But just this situation over here, there's no way you'd be able to ride for any amount of time. Yeah, you can stretch out a little bit more like this, but even then, let's say you close the door, you know, you got a little bit more room, but I wouldn't want to go on a road trip like this. Can you travel in it just fine for, you know, an hour, a couple hours? Yeah, you could do it, but definitely not comfortable. This is where that 6 inches, if you were to get that, makes all the difference, just having that. But overall, the back seat looks good because you kind of have a stadium seating position where you're kind of looking down from the back to the front. So that's actually kind of cool. Let's climb in the back just for fun, all right? If I can get out of here, that's very awkward. All right, so this is the back, and I'm gonna climb in here, but at 6 foot, I mean, there is tons of room in the back of this. I mean, imagine the headroom, right? You could really stack this up with a lot of gear and stuff like that, but that's how much room there is in here. I could stretch my legs out like so, all right, while my back is on this hump right here. So I'm on this hump right here. That's where my back is on the other side, but that's my feet stretched out, right? And yeah, absolutely interesting how much room is in the back here and why they decided to add so much room in here when these seats could have moved just a little bit back and created more room in here. But that is the G Wagon, and this one is in the gray, but pretty nice. I like the red calipers, and I actually have some aftermarket tires on here on the same Mercedes, GM, or AMG rim, but these are 275 55/20s, and I think it gives it a way better look just having that aggressive thread on that. And then the new one, of course, doesn't come with this bumper. It comes with that bumper that's just down here at the bottom, which I'll be switching out hopefully to that as well. So that's this vehicle, guys. I'm gonna keep it short, go inside and get this deal done, and we'll meet you guys on the new one.